Today we have Angy Abaunza on Let's Talk Jonesboro, and she is a vital member of our grants department. And this is a special time for grants because, well, there's COVID, and so so many grant opportunities are coming down the pipe that our department is pretty overwhelmed trying to find all the resources that will serve Jonesboro, just residents in general, but businesses as well. And Angy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
But tell us a little bit about, first of all, I think a lot of people have heard the acronym CDBG. Will you tell us what it stands for and what you normally do in a regular year?
Yes, okay, so I am the CDBG program manager, and CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. It is funding through HUD, through the Housing and Urban Development Department, and we received an annual allocation as an entitlement city. This year we received $616,000 and 257.
And an entitlement city simply means, is my understanding, that you have more than 50,000 population. Is that accurate?
Yes, it's actually a formula-based allocation. It has to do with poverty level, housing stock, and population in general. And HUD has that calculation in determining how much funding needs to go to that population, to that community.
And you and the other members, hardworking members of the grants department, are charged with finding the people in need who could use this funding. And how do you determine who gets funding and what do they normally get it for?
Okay, so CDBG funding, it's specifically to assist low and moderate income individuals in our community. Many people qualify just based on their income. So many of our grants is only based on income. And for instance, the grant we are going to speak about today, it's not only based on income, but it's also creating or retaining jobs. So that qualification changes a little bit.
Now, when they receive these grants, is this money they can go buy a big screen TV at Walmart with, or do they have to apply it to a specific purpose?
Oh, no, sir, no, sir. So we have multiple grants, and one of them is the homeowner rehab program, and that's to have repairs on their home for low-income individuals. We contract and pay the contractors for that job. So it's based on the need of having a viable environment, a safety and clean environment to live in. And many of our applicants are elderly, with fixed income that unfortunately do not have any income to fix their houses. And they let it, many times it's so deteriorated that we need to put in more funding, and our contractors are very, very good at assisting us with fulfilling that.
And they will give them the best price possible to do things
Yes.
like repair roofs,
Yes.
HVAC system, water leaks.
Yes, so we do, most of our jobs are roof, plumbing issues, and HVAC. So either in the summer, we received many air conditioning issues, so to change new air conditioners, so to fix them. And in the winter, obviously, it's the heat,
Right.
the heaters.
Yeah. Now, is this money that comes directly from the federal government? You said HUD, but is it passed through the state and then we fight for our portion? It's directly from HUD?
Yes, sir. It's directly from HUD. We are an entitlement city. We receive the funding from HUD. The one that oversees us is the field office in Little Rock. Okay. But it's a HUD field office directly.
I got you. So and you've distributed every year, I know you've distributed $50,000 to $60,000 worth of home improvements. Is that about right?
Yes, more or less, depending on our allocation. We are required to divide the allocation in multiple things. So, for instance, administrative cost, we have a cap of 20% of our entire allocation amount. We have a cap of 15% for our public services program, and we try to keep the repair program to be height funded. So it could be, depending on how many programs and projects we have in the program year, it could be $50,000 or it could be $100,000.
Very nice. And this year being 2020, with everything that we understood to be normal gone sideways, the government has come out with extra money for small businesses, and you are now working on small business loans. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yes, so HUD allocated additional funding to the city of Jonesboro for support to prevent any issues concerning to COVID-19. The funding could be allocated in multiple areas for many activities. However, the city of Jonesboro, our mayor, decided to do it for small business grant. So this year we're doing an application that's going to come out on July 1st for small business emergency grant.
Well, with very few exceptions, businesses have really been affected. Everyone knows that negatively by the coronavirus impact. And I think this is a great use of aid. This is what governments are for, to help during hard times. And not every country can do this. I know a lot of other countries are really struggling because they don't have a government structure to help get through difficult situations, and this is unique as anything we've ever seen. So tell me how much you've got in grant and how you intend to disperse it.
Okay, we received $616,257 for the regular CDBG. Additionally, we received for COVID-19 $352,524 dollars. And all of that amount, that entire amount, is going to go for the small business grant.
Right. And so before I have a heart attack, no business is going to get $300,000.
No.
What are the ranges that businesses are going to receive?
Our max is $10,000. Our minimum is $1,000. However, as a small business, you do have other eligibility, other requirements that need to be fulfilled.
What type of obligations do these businesses have to receive these grants?
Okay, so one of them is they have to employ 20 employees at least. It must have 3 employees, and that includes the business owner. It's the most important thing for qualification is to register to SAM.gov. You initially have to receive a DUNS number for your business, and then you proceed with the SAM registration.
What is the number that you're referring to? What does that mean?
The DUNS number, it's basically an identification number for your business. And that is in DUNS. If you Google DUNS, DUNS number, D-U-N-S, DUNS number.
DUNS.
Yes. You may just Google it and access it. It's free. And then that's one step. That's the number that you will need to register to SAM.gov, SAM.gov. Completely free. It's a requirement. Any person receiving federal grant needs to have that registration. And so it's not a requirement, it's a federal requirement. Besides that, which is the most important thing that I will think that business have to start doing now, we urge them to submit their application as soon as they receive that SAM registration. What else? Other qualifications is that they must create or retain employment for an LMI individual. LMI stands for low and moderate income individual. And businesses also must provide proof of loss of revenue during COVID-19. And that is very important for us to know how your business was affected. So the part of the application has a proposal section where you narrate your losses, how your business was impacted, how you were able to surpass the loss of revenue, how you had to modify your business in order to sustain your business. So all of that is going to be accounted for when we do the application review, when our community development committee meets to review the applications.
So this is money that's not going to make anyone allowed to collect and sit back on piles of money. They're going to get just enough to keep them going if they work hard. And
yes, sir.
That's the whole purpose of these grants.
Yes, sir. So they could, with the application, they could use the grant money for payroll, meaning that we could assist them with paying one of their employees. Preferably, it would be the employee that they choose for the grant, either to create that position or to retain that position. They could use it for PPE, so for personal protective equipment, for the purchase of those. We could also reimburse for some of the cost of those purchases that happened when we got hit by COVID-19, and we had to follow the guidelines. They could be used for rent and utilities of the business location. So that in order for us to reimburse any money or to write a check to them, they have to show proof where the money was expended. So they need to show proof of purchase and proof of that the amount expended or requested goes into their bank account, that it's clear into their bank account. So we have to do proof of purchase.
So there's a lot of follow through, although the process is not that difficult for those who need it, but there is a lot of verification and follow through on the grants as they're delivered.
Yes, we provide the applicant that becomes a subrecipient if we award the grant. We provide a subrecipient with many packages. So there's a package of a monthly or a quarterly report that they would provide when they ask for that reimbursement of the expenditures. So documentation has to be provided, but that's just basically you balancing your checking account.
Right.
So it's not
well,
too much.
I know since all this started that you and your director, Regina Burkett, and of course Lakin Williams and Hillary Starnes have been working long hours in search of grant opportunities, because this is money that's going someplace, and you guys are the keys to keeping Jonesboro funded through opportunities that other cities would otherwise receive. So I think the city owes you a debt of gratitude, as well as these small businesses and everybody that you find a grant for, because you keep Jonesboro thriving. Can you give me just a little story about how it's been different in 2020 in your job?
Wow. Well, yes, it has been very different since the time that we had to work from home. Mm-hmm. And that was very difficult time, especially since we got hit by the tornado. So we were divided to searching for grants for tornado relief and COVID-19 relief. So like you said, many of us have been working really hard. Our department has been tasked to find many of those fundings, that federal and state grants that are available for us to be able to help our community. But it's been hard. It's been hard receiving calls from business owners explaining the need, how much they need some assistance. Perhaps they were not able to qualify for other state grants, and they are seeking for the local funding.
Yes, very nice. She's Angy Abaunza. She works in our grants department, and she's just one example of the many people at the City of Jonesboro who have been working overtime and countless hours, sometimes thankless hours, to provide for all of us in the City of Jonesboro. And we are grateful to have you with us on Let's Talk Jonesboro, Angy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.